As we've been reporting, the Biden administration believes an attack by Russia on Ukraine could happen in a matter of days. Officials have grown more concerned since Russia increased the number of troops along the Ukrainian border. Russia maintains it has no plans to invade. The U.S. is promising severe economic sanctions should the Kremlin attack. For more on this, I'm joined by Reuters White House correspondent Jeff Mason. Jeff, thanks so much for joining us. As you heard today, the president said an attack was imminent. What evidence does the U.S. have?
Well, Meg, the first thing I would start with is saying that the Biden administration and the White House have been saying for some time that President Putin hadn't made his decision yet. And today, President Biden was asked, do you believe that Vladimir Putin has decided to invade Ukraine? And he said yes. And so that was, for me, the most significant piece of news that came out of Biden's statement to the press this afternoon. To your question specifically in terms of what the evidence is, he didn't really share the intelligence. And that's one thing that they haven't been doing, other than pointing out that there are now over, President Biden said today, 150,000 Russian troops surrounding the Ukraine borders. I've seen numbers up to 190,000. So they're citing those numbers and citing U.S. intelligence. Despite
the headline that President believes an attack is imminent, remind us what the president is also saying about a possible diplomatic solution.
Well, he's saying that there is still room for diplomacy, and that has also been the Biden administration's line from the start, that they are open to and eager to have a diplomatic solution. And he mentioned that the Secretary of State was set to meet with Russia's foreign minister next week if Russia doesn't invade in the meantime. So they are absolutely still open to that, but his tone, his words certainly seem to indicate he thinks President Putin is not looking at that as the next step.
Jeff, meantime, the White House is blaming Russia for a series of cyber attacks on Ukraine. Ukraine's defense ministry and two major banks were impacted. What's the administration saying about the potential for more attacks in the future?
Well, the White House actually today at Jen Psaki's daily briefing brought out a cyber expert and two people from the National Security Council to address just those types of questions. And they talked about the U.S. being prepared, although saying that there's no plausible threat against the homeland, i.e. the United States, but saying that the U.S. is prepared for cyber intrusions. And this is just one tool, you could say, in President Putin's toolbox of options for attacking Ukraine and attacking elsewhere. And the United States wanted to raise the alarm about that and give blame, as you said, to Russia for cyber attacks against Ukraine, and also say they're ready for more.
We know this weekend the Russian military is set to conduct nuclear drills. President Vladimir Putin will oversee them. What more can you tell us about that? And what's been the response to this from the U.S. and its allies?
Well, President Biden was asked about that today, too, and he said specifically he does not think that President Putin is contemplating using nuclear weapons, that he's looking to start some kind of a nuclear conflict. And I think the president was thinking in addressing that he wants to tamp down any fears that this could escalate on a massive scale beyond invading Ukraine. Not to downplay the importance or the significance, rather, of invading Ukraine, but he did not say that he thought Vladimir Putin was doing these exercises as a way to perhaps start something nuclear. I don't have any more information about the exercises themselves, but it is in line with what President Putin of Russia has been doing for weeks and months now in terms of just saber rattling or showing force.
All right, Jeff Mason, thanks so much for breaking it all down for us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.